Welcome to the Swedish Gaming Dudes. My name is Johan.
I'm John.
I'm Justin.
Hey, and welcome to a new episode. We've been away for a while, actually, since our last recording.
A while indeed. Was it months?
Yeah, several months, I think. Justin, you've been traveling and stuff.
Yes, I had a trip to Asia with Indonesia and South Korea. So it's partly my fault that it took so long.
But that's very cool. It was an amazing trip, I can imagine.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I will definitely go back someday.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and I've been on vacation, and John, you have vacation now for a week at least.
Yeah, I did have one vacation where I got to Sweden Rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, barely a vacation because I didn't leave the country.
How was Sweden Rock? Was it good?
Yeah, it was amazing. A little bit cold, but amazing. Like friends, beer, and music, all that counts.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. Then you get back to real life and you play video games again, and we get
exactly. Different part of life that I'd love to.
Yeah. What have you been playing now, John?
Well, actually, yesterday night I actually finished Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Yeah.
Which is considered to be a remake of sorts, even though it feels like it's just a visual overhaul with one major change over the GameCube version. So it's the Switch version that I played. Because it's a very good game where you have turn-based combat. The story gets better and better. There are jokes that I like, and you care more about the characters throughout the story. And I do love the fact that there's this one major mission later on in the game because there's this vast world. It's not really vast when it comes to a lot of open world games, but it's still kind of vast. So in this mission, you have to visit certain, all major regions all over the map. And it's really tedious because you have to walk there. And sometimes it's like a train, and it's like an in-game 3-day ride. And then there's like, a balloon flight and stuff like that. But in the Switch version, there's a fast travel system.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it figures like, I really appreciated the fact that I didn't play the original.
Yeah.
So it was truly great.
Nice. That's cool. Justin, what have you been playing?
Played during the travels. I played the Final Fantasy 3 DS remake. Still a very good game.
Yeah.
Perfect to sit when you're waiting for a flight, just grind and grind and grind.
Yeah.
So I kind of was over-leveled for most of the game, both good and bad. And then when I got home, the Clair Obscure Expedition 33 is such an amazing game.
Yeah.
So, kind of was thinking yesterday, so what should I talk about? And then I've just played old Game Boy games, the Metroid Zero Mission and Fusion.
Oh.
So, like a palette cleanser after. So Expedition 33 has ruined gaming for me for the coming months. It was too good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree. I played a lot of Clair Obscure, and it's like one of the best games I played in my life, basically. Yeah. And John, you're going to start to play it also. And
I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think we'll make a special episode of that because of that game, just talking about Clair Obscure when you're done with it, because it's such a good game. And since we have our lots of gaming like roots in, like you said, Final Fantasy and that sort of game, and it's like the next step sort of in that genre. So I think we'll make a special episode just about that game when you played it, John.
Oh yeah.
I played that a lot. It came out a lot of games on Xbox Game Pass. Clair Obscure was one of them, and I played Oblivion Remaster. They made a HD like new Oblivion, like just new graphics, like Unreal Engine graphics, and it looked gorgeous. And compared to the original, like it's so much better with the visual style. And they also changed like the leveling system, so it's better in the new version. And I played Death Stranding 2. I'm a big Hideo Kojima fan, and that was a very good game as well. I think it was way better than the first, way better missions, and easier to make these deliveries around the world. So it was a more like smoother experience than the first one. And now I'm into Donkey Kong Bonanza, as playing that. So lots of games. We got the release of the Switch 2. John, you bought it as well.
I did.
So I play a lot of Mario Kart World and now Donkey Kong. So yeah, always something new to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Donkey Kong is very fun. It's much like Mario Odyssey, but even more like, perhaps even more like better level design in this one, because it's so much freedom in how you play it. I really like that.
Nice. I do really look forward to playing that game.
Yeah.
Because, Mario Odyssey I never really liked that much.
Yeah.
I did not even finish it.
Oh, that's interesting. We have to make an episode that we talk about the games we really hate, that everybody else love, but we hate.
Sure.
Yeah, and last episode we were talking about our gaming journey, what we started playing when we were kids, like the first Nintendo or Super Nintendo and up to PlayStation, and we were talking about the experiences with that, and we're going to continue today from where we left off. And I think we talked about Wii games and PS3, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Xbox 360, and Guitar Hero, SingStar.
Yeah, that's right, Guitar Hero.
Yeah, and Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. So, do you want to continue with a little bit about the Wii or PlayStation 3?
Yeah, actually, I was actually thinking about one thing about the Wii, because it felt like across that generation something new started, or maybe it's been a continuous thing since the start, but it was way more apparent during that generation, because I started noticing that a lot of people that weren't actually gamers before started playing.
Yeah,
I've even heard that, in medicine, it was actually used for rehabilitation. It's perfect to play Wii Sports.
Yeah.
To, start to play, various kinds of games that can be kind of gentle to your wrist and start to work the musculature and, start to use your arms in more motivating ways that aren't really something that people would do otherwise. And it just felt... It just, even though that I've been playing for all my life practically, it just sounded so amazing that other people get to experience something that I've been enjoying for years.
Yeah. And as I remember that when we came out, in where you have old people staying in homes and stuff like that, and there was some retired boxer or something, and he could finally box again with the Wii Sports game, So as you said, a lot of people got activated with it, and I remember with my family as well. I mean, when I was a kid, we played Super Mario together just for fun or something. But when the Wii came out, we actually played it together at family gatherings, play Wii Sports, bowling. We still play that with my family sometimes. And you say everybody got involved because it was fun and everybody could do it. My dad and his girlfriend played golf together, and you had golf in Wii Sports as well, and it just everybody, wow, I have to try it, looks fun, so it was very accessible to people like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Felt like they got more Nintendo focused more on family oriented, and I think they in some capacity still do compared to the Xbox or PlayStation 5. It's much more you say accessible for non-gamers in quotation marks.
Yeah, definitely. Truly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and also I got to think of this one thing, because it does feel like the teams behind PlayStation started to get more and more inspired because of Nintendo's ways of creating games, and not just necessarily sticking to the old formats of creating games for storytelling or puzzles and whatnot, but actually for different kinds of experiences in new ways. And so with PlayStation Move, and even back in PlayStation 2 era, when it was the iToy.
The iToy.
Yeah, where you would actually use your body in various ways to play your games. It was really amazing back at the time when I remembered that Killzone 3 was released on the PS3.
Yeah.
And you could play it in the typical kind of way because of it's first-person shooter.
Yeah.
And what was even more immersive was when we were playing it with the PlayStation Move controller, because you had one in one hand. In the left hand, I held the one with the joystick.
Yeah.
And it was a wireless unit. You had buttons and triggers in that one. And on the right hand, you had more of a light bulb.
Yeah,
as well
like
as
a wand or something. Yeah.
And a thicker stick for the handle, and buttons in that one too, and the trigger. and it was perfect to just point and shoot.
Yeah.
It was a short game, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was everything that, it just made first-person shooter a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah. If the game was like really built for it and it used it well, it functioned very well, I think, with the motion controls. And I remember I played, but that was on the Wii, I played the Metroid Prime trilogy, and that was... So the third game was released for Wii, and so that had the motion control just for the aiming and stuff, and that worked very well. And they re-released the first 2 games as a trilogy. You could play every with that motion control, and that was really cool, really cool. Even if the wrist took a turn, if you played too long, you can had some soreness to it. Like, I think it was my body to say, just go out and play in the sun or something. Don't sit here and play video games all day. But I like today, like, for example, because I played Metroid Prime, speaking of that, on the Switch a couple of weeks ago. Like, they released a remaster for it. And they have different control styles for it. You can have motion control, but you can also have that more traditional, now sort of dual stick control that you didn't have in the originals. And now you can play it any way you want. And I think that's a good thing to do, so you just don't have to use motion control for maybe games that weren't built for it from the beginning, but now they implemented it because it became a big thing, so. But I like to have that choice how you want to play it, with normal controls, or if you want to do with the motion control. So
nice.
Justin, did you play a lot of Wii games?
Only when I was visiting John.
Yeah.
I remember this is one of those clear gaming memories you will never forget, because I know we played the Wii Golf, like we talked about.
Yeah.
I do believe you have already talked about that, but go on.
Where we realized that you don't actually have to swing like a real golf club. If you learn to flick your wrist the right way, you can shoot so much further. And one of our friends thought, this little lanyard around your hand that's silly. We don't need that. He did, and almost launched the controller. He missed the TV by a few centimeters, luckily.
A lot of broken TVs during the Wii period.
And then there was, Microsoft's attempt for implementing their own kind of thing. So I remembered the Kinect.
Kinect, yes,
So they had this one demo that I never really played, but I remember it was like, you have these characters that they're going down a water slide in a water park somewhere, and it's like a balance kind of a game. And so you're in this kind of a floaty boat, whatever. But then the highlight of it all was if you liked dance games, because Dance Central 1, 2, and 3 was very much the pinnacle of the entire experience.
And they were really good.
Yeah, they were really good, and I love the UI, how you would control the menus, like hold out your hand with a straight arm, and where you would just, make clear waves with your hands to signify whether you want to swipe across the screen, hold the hand still for choosing something. And it could even keep track of your feet and your voice. And speaking of your voice, it would have the add-on kind of controls for alien isolation.
Cool.
I do believe that our friend Bante told us this. Like, he loves the game. And if you would have a connected to your console, it would actually keep track of the sound levels from your surroundings.
Because if you make too much noise, the alien will hear you. In real life, so you have to stay quiet, don't breathe too loud. But it's very cool. That's a fun way to implement it.
I wonder how many people died in that game because their mom opened the door and said, "It's time for dinner."
Oh my god, yeah.
Mom, be quiet. The aliens will kill you. Well, that's really thinking outside of the box. By them, that's a really, really smart idea.
But I like games that have things like that. I remember this was I don't know, maybe around the same time, but maybe before. But speaking of Hideo Kojima, always have like fun ideas with his games. He made this. What's this called? It was like a Game Boy game that you were a vampire hunter and you had like a solar gun or something. I don't remember the name now, but on the back of the cartridge, it had some sort of like you can charge your weapon, your solar weapon in the game by being outside and having, the sun shine on the game. that powered your gun. So you had to go outside in the sun and not sit inside and play games all the time. So you really had to leave your house and stay in the sun to charge your weapon. I think that, I don't know how often you had to do it, but it was like a fun idea as well. Maybe if it's too often, you may go insane, but if it's, you don't have to do it that frequently, but you have to go out and, have some sun on you to charge your weapon. I think that's
a really cool idea.
That's a very cool idea, I think. But he always does things like that, like with the first Metal Gear Solid, with the Psycho Mantis boss battle, they have to change the control ports because he can read your mind, things like that, like mind-blowing stuff first time we played it, so.
Yeah, truly.
And as you say, Wii is like continuation of how engaged you are as a gamer and what you do. Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah.
Definitely amazing how much ideas you can implement from the real world.
Yeah.
And, it force you to live more of a healthier life.
Yeah.
To do those smaller things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we had the Wii Fit as well. The little square, a white square you stand on.
Yeah. It was like that. It was like a balance board kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you would use it in combination with I've never played that, the Wii Fit game. But it seemed to be an amazing thing. I mean, like, why wouldn't they implement that in the Metroid games?
Yeah. Keeping your balance, yeah.
And they did continue developing. No, I'm jumping ahead, but for the Switch, you had the
Ring Fit Adventure.
Exactly, with the hula hoop. You set your controllers in.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo has always been quite inventive when it comes to controls, how you control the game.
Definitely.
They have always been a step ahead of everyone else.
Truly. I do believe, like, even back at the time of the Wii, I don't know when Satoru Iwata was the CEO of Nintendo or worked there as a heavy influence, but I don't know if it was his motto, because he used to tell that on E3s and whatnot, showcases that games should be fun. And I do agree with that for the most of the thing, even though I sometimes just think that, well, sometimes you need to implement it in a very good way. Sometimes it's just better to stick to the traditional concept.
Yeah, because as I say, if you have these motion controls, they have to be well implemented in the game, because otherwise it doesn't work really. Like I was playing this the Skyward Sword Zelda game, and because of the re-release on the Switch, and there you could choose motion control or basic, the standard control. But that game was so like you couldn't play it really. I mean, the motion control weren't like exact enough to swing the sword in special moves, and if you tried to play it with the normal control, which I played it with because I couldn't stand the motion control, you had to swing the right stick different way to use the sword, you know? So sometimes it can just like hinder the game in a way to be more accessible in the future, or the way you played when it was released as well, because if you make it too precise, it's probably not going to react the way you think with the motion control,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
it can also put the game down in that way. I would play Skyward Sword way more. I just finished it once, but I would play it more if it had like normal Zelda controls. I would definitely play it more because I really liked it, but the controls were horrible, basically.
And that actually reminds me, and it actually ties together with what you have both been mentioning today, like the Wii version of Skyward Sword was that on the Wii back in 2011 you had to own this Wii Motion Plus accessory for the Wii Motion controller. Because the controller itself was not precise enough. And it could not even read as fast of movements, even though that with the add-on it was still not as precise that it needed to be.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it was like, every single movement for every single sword slash and whatnot, you had to really, so to speak, as we martial artists say sometimes, you have to telegraph all the moves.
Yeah.
Like big movements.
Yeah.
Really tell the opponent, okay, I'm waving my hands really loudly and I'm going to keep my arms stretched.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like more in real life, you would not telegraph.
No.
And that was, very much of a bummer. That's like the worst hurdle to, start to like that game, even in the Switch version.
Yeah. And it's sad because it's a good game. In the foundation is very good. I mean, with the dungeons and everything like that. But the controls, can make or break a game basically. Yeah. But it's as you said, Nintendo's always revolutionized things, and I think for Nintendo 64, for example, you had a small joystick on the controller. Now every controller since then has had a controller on every system.
Truly.
Because it's revolutionary how you oriented yourself in 3D games basically. So. Yeah. So they're pushing the boundaries, and that was some of the criticism on for the Switch 2, that it wasn't pushing the boundaries enough, like with an innovation and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think it's a solid system. I think it's like a more pristine in a way than the first one. It feels like a better product, and now you can use the controllers as mouse control, on your leg or on the table when you play a game. So you have this, for first-person games and stuff like that. So I think they're always aware of that, and you have a more powerful console than the first one. So
I'm getting to think about this like back in 2012, because the first Wii was released in 2006. So 6 years later, you had the Wii U. And that was the first attempt of creating a Switch that ultimately failed. But the ideas were amazing. Because you would have this main unit, the brains of it all, that you would connect to HDMI to the TV with its own power source, and it communicated wirelessly with this gamepad. So imagine yourself like an iPad with a thicker plastic casing, 2 joysticks, and buttons that don't really feel all that well, and gyro and stuff like that. Not a capacitive touchscreen, because physical pressure does matter for the screen. But they really had some amazing ideas, because you could buy Nintendo Land, for instance, with this game, and sometimes it came pre-bundled. And I remembered there was this game where you would have this this gamepad in not a portrait. A portrait kind of a perspective instead of a landscape. And you would drag your finger from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen, and you would point it towards the TV. So you would have both screens working simultaneously, and you would throw one projection being like a shuriken, a throwing star. They would throw towards the TV. And it worked amazing for aiming and all that. But I remembered the connection was not good. The graphics wasn't all that amazing. It was 1080p, but it was the worst 1080p.
Okay.
And it was backwards compatible with Wii games, but all by itself, exclusive games, there were barely any games that were really worth it.
No. They made like Zelda remasters, like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Those everybody wants those on the Switch now. I hope they release them. But they made those, and Breath of the Wild was released on it, right? I think as well.
It was.
Before, at the same time for the Switch, of course.
Truly. By the release date of 2017, so
I wonder which one sold most copies.
John
is the only one who bought a Wii U in the world, basically.
And in hindsight, I bet I would have skipped it entirely if I wouldn't have been a collector. I felt like I'm not even touching it right now, and it looks so ugly, and it's actually uncomfortable when you would compare it to other hardware.
Because I remember that was like about the Wii, but then I didn't buy the Wii U, but I always had like Nintendo console playing the new Nintendo games and stuff like that. But there was nothing with the Wii U that made me want to buy it in any way. Like, no, why would I buy this? As you said, there are not many like games that was just made specifically for that, and that sounded interesting. And then I was into, PlayStation 3 and then PlayStation 4. So, no, I just skipped it and then went straight to the first Switch. And I wasn't first for that as well. I bought it a couple years later after its release, maybe the year after or something like that. But because, it was just off from Nintendo for a while,
And they actually had this generation where it felt like Nintendo started to make their own generation instead of universal ones.
Yeah.
Because it felt like throughout the years, it's been like every 7 years you would have a change of generation. But with Nintendo, they just had their own ways of going like, okay, a generation, we choose how long that lasts.
Yeah.
And we will not necessarily make, graphical improvements each and every one of them.
No.
And they did abandon the 3DSs.
Yeah.
I don't remember the year, but it did create the games like really late. What was it, 2017, 18?
Okay.
Like that, Pokemon Y and X and Black 2 and whatever. But it felt like as soon as the Switch came along in 2017, they started to feel like, okay, now we have one console for both handheld play and stationary.
But you played a lot of the 3DS, right, John? Yeah, with the Zelda games and Metroid.
Yeah, truly. It felt like it was perfect for a fan like me, being like, amongst the first reasons why I wanted the 3DS. The first version actually was to play Ocarina of Time. It felt like a remake because the graphics had an overhaul and they had implemented gyro. It already had vibrations. And the dual screen was amazing because on the top screen you would have your major gameplay and on the bottom screen you would have the screen for map or inventory.
Yeah.
And it worked amazingly, actually.
Yeah.
Because you could change in real time. I remember back in the Water Temple, you could change your boots without pausing the game.
Yeah. That's the whole reason why they made the remake. It was because of the Water Temple.
Yeah. So it was that. But there wasn't much of, it just didn't really feel like... The battery power was great for the 3DS.
Yeah.
The 3D... kind of a thing was amazing for a couple of minutes, but usually if you would look at it from the wrong angle, you would get tension up in the temple by the side of your eyes, and that would cause some headaches.
Yeah.
So they made an improvement later on, but it still would have caused headaches because people did not really get it.
Yeah.
I just remember the weirdest, speaking of controllers and invention, was when Guitar Hero was released, everybody wanted, there was DJ Hero, where it was spinning a disc, fun for about 5 minutes and so.
Yeah.
But I had a skating game for the 360 where you had a skateboard as the controller.
Oh my god.
There were light sensors around it, so you could, when you chose the menu, you had to wave your hand in front of the sensor. The sensor at the front of the keyboard. And you were supposed to do all these and turn the skateboard controller. The problem is that if you play in your living room, you usually have a lamp in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Which is usually where you stand if you're gonna play a motion control game. So you wouldn't actually get any light on the light sensors. But it was really, really thinking outside the box, really inventional.
Yeah.
What how you say of them?
Inventive.
Inventive. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really cool idea. Not very well executed.
Yeah. Oh man, skateboard games. I remember, Tonak Pro Skater 2 major first and foremost. I never really played. I played the remaster very much later on, but when it came to Skate 2, there was on 360 and PS3. I remember there was this one mode that I kept on playing a lot because you got points for breaking the most amount of bones in your body.
It sounds like the mode for me.
that was super fun. But otherwise, skateboard games was not my thing.
No,
me neither.
I missed those Tony Hawk, as you said, those games. I never played them, and now they're remastered. I had because I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan. When you bought the Substance version, like the second game, Metal Gear Solid 2, you had like lots of extra VR missions and stuff stuff like that. You got to play more as Snake because that was the big complaint from fans. They didn't want to play as Raiden, they wanted to play as Snake. But they actually included a skateboard game in that one with it's so weird with Snake and Raiden. You were on this big shell where the game takes place, and you're doing tricks and stuff with the skateboard. And so they didn't include that in the HD remaster that was released a couple of years ago. But I still remember you had this skateboard game in Metal Gear Solid 2.
You should have had the skateboard controller for it.
Yes, that's what I did that wrong. I had to buy that game.
Oh yeah, wow.
I wonder if they were to re-release that skateboard controller to PS4 or Xbox XS.
Series X, yeah.
I wonder how long it would take before someone beat Dark Souls with the skateboard controller.
It's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you see on Facebook or YouTube, like these gamers who play with these dance mats and complete lots of ludicrous games, or players who complete like Super Mario 64 with not looking at the screen. They have like a blindfold on, and they take every star. I mean, it's insane. How do you do that? It's like you live and breathe the game for your life, basically. You can't do anything else. I
do remember one thing back in 2014. I was working in retail, and it was my second year there. And so the PS4 came in November of 2013, and everybody was talking about it. Everybody wanted it. It was amazing. And then the year after, there was a very weird hardware release from Microsoft because it was the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And essentially nobody wanted it, and we had to import it because for some reason it wasn't released in Sweden until later with a very subtle release when people weren't really asking for it.
Yeah.
And even in Japan, I read news articles saying that nobody wanted. The release date for one store had no queue outside. And back at the time, it actually had its own version of the Kinect that could even keep track of separate finger gestures.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And so it had potential, but no. For some reason, barely anything was released for that. If anything at all, I don't really remember.
Was that the first after 360, Xbox 360?
Yeah, that was the next generation of Xboxes.
Yeah, because I stopped. I had the first Xbox, played Halo and stuff like that, but then I more continued with PlayStation. Basically, I went and bought PlayStation 3 on holiday, just like spur of the moment thing. I just wanted to buy one, and I actually wanted to play. Speaking of Oblivion, that was the first game I bought, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, because it looks so amazing with the graphics. I mean, today it doesn't look half as good as you remember, of course, but with the HD remaster it looks amazing. But just to have like next generation level graphics and more like this realistic environments, and Elder Scrolls 4 like had this freedom of your character creator and just the freedom of what you wanted to do. You can make a character that look like Chuck Norris and just go around and punch people if you wanted to do that and nothing else. It was like
so much freedom.
Yeah, and also this graphical leap was very cool, I think. And I also bought it for Metal Gear Solid 4 that has still only been released on PlayStation 3.
True.
I think they're working on remaster now, but But you had exclusive games. You had to buy the console to play them, basically. So
definitely. So remember, the Xbox One got 3 different iterations of the console. So there was the first one, which was a huge box. And it had a Blu-ray player, but you needed to download the free software to play any Blu-ray movies and whatnot. And the Kinect got canceled, and for some reason they even felt like, okay, when it comes to the Xbox One S, they released that with without the disc tray or the disc input, so to speak. And one with it. But if you wanted to connect it with Kinect, you needed an external adapter that was only sold by Microsoft themselves and no other retail store.
Yay! What a winning concept!
But it was very inspiring because I did remember one thing, that they managed to shrink the entire console chassis by, it felt like, at least half of the size of the thickness and height. And then with the most powerful Xbox One X, they did even more thinner, but it did weigh the most.
Okay.
And that came in with a disk drive, and so I had that one too. But mine got some whatever kind of a thing going on where I couldn't get it updated. I couldn't even go back to the way that it was, so I stopped playing it.
Yeah.
So I stuck with the PlayStation 4, which had the PlayStation 4, the Slim, and the Pro.
Yeah, yeah.
And I still have to get myself the Slim, but I do have the Pro.
Yeah. Yeah, PlayStation 4, it was a nice upgrade also with the games. And as I said, with the Pro Edition, so... And now we have PlayStation 5 and the Pro Edition. Speaking of, you have to buy external disk drive for the Pro. So you have to pay like 12,000 kroner to get a slightly sharper image on your games.
Yeah,
like, it's insane.
And it feels like the jump of these kinds of visual improvements aren't that big anymore.
No. Between PlayStation 3 and 4, you felt the jump. You know, so noticed in the character models, like it was because I got for my 30th birthday. I remember I got the new Tomb Raider game when they were like rebooting the series, like more realistic, and I got that for PlayStation 3, and then I got PlayStation 4, and I bought the 4 edition, and there you can have like big difference with character models and details and stuff. Like, wow, okay, this looks very good, you know. But between 4 and 5, it didn't feel like that big of a jump graphics wise. But it also takes time in the console, you know, generation to get the graphics better and better, and compared to now, I've been playing like Death Stranding, the first and the second game. The second game has, because you remember sometimes graphics way better than they were in real life, like oh, they looked so good, and I compared like images of Death Stranding 1 and 2, different, you know, console generation. It was a huge difference looking at the characters. I didn't remember it was that big, but I was looking, oh my god, it looks 10 times better on PlayStation 5, you know, compared to PlayStation 4, so sometimes you remember it differently. And I think so also with this Oblivion remaster, like the one I played, the new one felt like, oh, this is the way I remembered it looked when I played the original. But then when you look at the original, like, oh my god, I can't play this game, it looks horrible.
Wow.
You know? Because your mind gets tricked a bit from,
Truly.
I think I like except graphics. So some games it's a minor, like you say, a minor upgrade from PS4 to PS5. But the loading screens.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So much smoother with the couple of seconds. Because I played the first Spider-Man game for the PS4. Where had the loading screen, where they at least let him get a cutscene sort of where he rode the subway.
That's true.
And then on the PS5, they didn't even bother with making anything. It's what should we show, a 5-second ride on the subway?
Oh, man. And it reminded me actually now about, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2 is notorious for long loading times. I do believe, like, as you're booting it up on the PlayStation 4 vanilla, meaning the first one, the loading times is so big. I do remember if it was like maybe less than 2 minutes or more than that. Same goes along with the Slim. And even with the PlayStation 4 Pro, the gameplay itself really suffers with, you know, I do believe like it easily goes to frame rate dips that makes the entire gameplay experience suffer. And I remembered within the PlayStation 4 generation where I would have Horizon Zero Dawn. And so I played it first on the first version of the PS4, and it looked great for its time. But then I remembered I hadn't even finished the game, and I did buy myself the PS4 Pro, and I played the same game. All of a sudden I felt like, oh, those mountains in the distance really look clear. I could see the contours and the colors and how the lights came on. It was like a new world of game. I felt like this is how it's supposed to be. It shouldn't even be available for the PS4.
And now speaking of Horizon Zero Dawn, you have a remaster for it as well on the PlayStation 5. So now it looks even better than that. New
gorgeous.
New animations and details, and like, oh my god, it looks so good, both the first and second game. But so I think it's people complain about another remaster, blah blah blah. But I mean, I think it's worth the upgrade if you like the game. I mean, if you're into the game, of course you want to play it with sharper and better graphics and with zero loading times, basically. Of course you want to do that. So, I mean, I think it's very seldom that you I remember this Days Gone, the released the Days Gone game. Maybe that's the example that I know that people have been sort of like, oh, I almost think the original looked better than the remaster. Like, so you have to put some, maybe more effort to it and like have it, you know, be a bigger upgrade sometimes than just maybe a little bit sharper graphics and stuff like that. But Days Gone is the only game I can think of that I know has received criticism that they think that the first edition is actually better than the second edition of it. So, But yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. So the PS5, I remembered there was the Xbox Series consoles that was released during the same month.
Yeah.
So you would have Xbox Series S without a disc tray.
Yeah.
And about half the storage size. No 4K capabilities, but you could get up to 1440p.
Yeah.
Which is okay, I guess. But the selling argument was like, it's not as expensive. But it's like 500 SEK away from the Xbox Series X. Get yourself the Series X and just save up longer and get yourself the maximized experience.
Yeah. Why do you want to buy the S version of Xbox? Like this, like it doesn't have a drive and it's worse than the other one? And it's not big a difference, as you say, price-wise? Why? Yeah. I don't get it why you would buy it. Maybe if you're a very, very casual gamer and you don't care.
Truly.
But,
even now in hindsight, it seems like Microsoft has tried to mitigate this by re-releasing the Xbox Series S with more storage and what was it? You know, certain kinds of things, not performance-wise, but something that is more just going towards the Series X version of it.
Yeah.
Because it's a difference if it's $50 or $250.
Yeah.
Price difference. Because then it's more understandable. So okay, but it's a third of the price cheaper. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. If you get it way cheaper, or maybe for families who don't, you know, they don't care really much want to buy something cheaper for the kids, just to have something to play or something. But otherwise, it's I don't get it. I don't get it really. Yeah. But Justin, did you play a lot of these consoles like PlayStation 3, Xbox 360?
PlayStation 3 I didn't. The
No?
360 I did.
Yeah.
But then I skipped the PlayStation 3 generation.
Yeah.
Got back into it with the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And I was so lucky when I bought my PlayStation 4 because I bought the bundle with the what's called Battlefront, the Star Wars.
That one. Yeah.
So I had a bundle with the PlayStation 4 and the game.
Yeah.
But someone at the warehouse that I ordered it from probably messed up. So I got the limited edition with Darth Vader engraved on the side of the console.
Nice.
I'm not gonna complain and send it back.
Oh, you sent me the wrong one. I got this super cool limited edition.
Yeah.
Do you still have that one?
No, I sold it to buy the Pro version. Found the special Spider-Man special edition. It's my favorite Marvel superhero.
Yeah.
The sleek red version with the white spider on top of it.
Cool.
But I unfortunately had to sell that one to buy the PS5
instead. Okay.
So I got rid of that one and some of the bad games I had to finance my PS5 purchase instead.
I sold my PS4 to a friend whose son, he really likes Spider-Man as well. So I sold him my PS4 cheap just so his son could get it to play Spider-Man. I really enjoy that Spider-Man game.
It was really good.
I have to play the second one. I still have yours edition here, but I have to play it because I really like the first one. I took like this platinum trophy in it and just did everything, and that was on PlayStation 4. I mean, it's upgraded for PlayStation 5. I have to go back and just play number 1 and 2, I think.
And they did something really smart that I think both the Spider-Man game and the God of War, God of War and Ragnarok and Horizon game, like almost all the controls are the same as the first game.
Yeah.
So you don't have to relearn the control mapping for how do I block, how do I aim, how do I use my special attack. Keep it so similar to the first game that it really feels like a sequel, not a new game, controller-wise.
Yeah.
So to speak.
That is true.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Now you mention it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's I'm thinking of games that have stood out in these generations, like PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4. But there's so many games. I don't know. It's
I really feel like maybe in this generation the indie games started to flourish more and more.
Yeah. True. Absolutely. Yeah.
But I'm really trying to think about certain titles. Which one was those? And there wasn't any special kind of peripherals for the PS4, PS5, or the Xbox Series or whatever.
PlayStation VR.
VR,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
back in
true.
2017.
Yeah, I had
100%.
the first one, the one for PlayStation, but it was so cumbersome because you weighed a lot and you had all these cables running to the PlayStation 4. So you always had to be careful with how you moved so you didn't just jank the cables and pull the PS4 off your TV shelf. And almost no games that were like, they did the Skyrim.
Yeah, Skyrim had it.
Released for the VR.
Yeah. I think one good game supposed to be very good is a Star Wars game where you're like in the cockpit of an X-wing fighter.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be really good. I haven't tried it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but I haven't played it. But it's supposed to be very good VR as well, like a complete different experience.
Nice.
And they had the Until Dawn for the PS4.
Yeah.
They actually used the controller, the gyro in the controller to see, since it's a horror game.
Yeah.
You had to, when the monsters came crawling near, you had to sit absolutely still. with the controller, so you didn't shake, and they felt you could solve it by just then I put the controller on the table where it stands still.
There was also a remake that was released last year. That's not supposed to be good either. I know fans say the first one was better also for the PS4 than PS5. So
and they released a movie based on the game.
It's not supposed to be good. I haven't seen it. It's not supposed to be good.
From what I've heard, it's basically the title that is the same, and Peter Stormare is also in the movie.
Yeah, Swedish actor.
And that's the only two things that are the same as the video game.
Oh man,
that's true, because I think it's such a good story, the video game. I haven't seen the movie either. I don't feel the need to do it.
No,
it's
me either.
Such a cool story and idea. So it's a really good game. Especially I played it a lot with a friend, because I usually don't get this is a horror game, but I don't get really that frightened by it. But he does. So it was so fun. It was almost more fun watching him play it than actually playing it yourself.
Oh man, that's amazing.
It's very fun to play horror games with someone who is scared by them. Friends, ex-girlfriend, she was there, and we played this unfinished.
The PT.
The PT, it was supposed to be Hideo Kojima's and Guillermo del Toro's Silent Hill game, like collaborating, but Sony shut it down because they are insane. So because they fired Kojima. So, but it was very good. You're just going in this small corridor, and there's ghosts hunting you, and random things can happen. And I mean, people scream, they're freaked out playing this game. And and it's so cool because it's this short demo, and you can finish it. You had to do certain things. I remember I finished it. But it was so inspiring for so many game developers, just this small thing, It had so many different games coming from that. Those Layers of Fear game, and lots of first-person, like, horror games, like... Think about Resident Evil 7, for example. Also, like this house, the beginning of that game, and just felt like this PT demo had a huge influence on games. And it's just a demo, not like this, AAA game that cost millions to make. And like our game, please like our game. And then the gamers play this demo and like, this is amazing. I just wanted to play this instead. So yeah, you can't buy that sort of greatness. You have to have good game developers and and passionate game developers, and give them the freedom to do what they want as well. You know, not this just profit thinking all the time. You know. So,
yeah. And speaking of these kinds of things with movies and stuff, I love the fact that it feels like a genre of its own, where Until Dawn is implemented, such as Heavy Rain and Beyond
cool.
Two Souls, where it feels like it creates a bridge between movies and video games, because you're not just watching, you're along for the ride, and you can influence what's going on. And I just love that people who aren't gamers once again have a reason to play video games, because they can experience a story, or sit and play this together with another friend. And you would have like, oh, what's that in the corner over there? Oh, you would have a speaker on this table, and it goes like, don't look behind you. Why can't I look behind you? And it's like, and then you have this flashing button on screen going like R2, R2, R2. And you would go like, do I press it or do I not? I'm getting the choice.
And
it's just so amazing.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Decide what happens in the horror game.
It's an interactive cinematic experience.
It like sort of mixed media art in a way, because a couple of years ago Alan Wake 2 was released. And I really liked that game. That was art almost. Like you had like this sort of more like this third-person horror investigation game, like a different style like that. But you also had like actors performing like in a movie, not just motion capture for the graphics, but you had like cinematics in it. And it was such a cool mix of two worlds, like seemingly implemented like together. So it felt like an interactive movie in a way, even though it had both cinematics and, you know, great graphics when you were playing the game as well. Great music, like Poets of the Fall. You had like a big musical number in the middle of the game. It's one of the best things I've seen in my life, basically. And I bought a fake T-shirt for the band in the game. It's not a real band, but I bought the band shirt for it. But it's like, it's very cool, and you can mix media. Alan Wake, I think, was a very good example of that. Yeah. Highly recommend Alan Wake 2.
I did try to get through that, but it was just too much for me to muster.
I
could not. I played several hours. It was amazing. I love these small Resident Evil 4 vibes.
You had because that has been a thing now since they started remaking the Resident Evil games. With the first Resident Evil 2, where you have this third person. You know, it started, as you said, with Resident Evil 4 way back when, but they're still continuing with that and refining that. I think it's those remakes are amazing for Resident Evil, like masterpieces.
They are. They're really.
And we are now also, speaking of like cinematic video games, so we're getting a lot of TV series and movie adaptations of video games. I think it's like the new thing. Like when Lord of the Rings was released, everybody wanted to make a fantasy movie. When Walking Dead was really, everybody wants to do a zombie series. Now we've seen in the last few years a lot of video adaptations. With the Fallout, the Borderlands, with the Last of Us,
Halo,
with varied results, maybe you can say. I really enjoyed it. I liked Fallout. I thought that was fun.
That was great.
That was a fun time. And also, I really loved the Super Mario movie, the animated one that came out a couple of years ago, because I mean, sure, you can say it's like 1.5 hour commercial for, Mario games, fine, but I think it was funny. I think it was well made, the animation, and it's 1 hour and 20 minutes long. It's very non-offensive in that way, you know, and the humor, and I mean, I really enjoyed it. I still put it on sometimes. Oh, what should I watch tonight? Oh, Mario movie. That's a fun time just to enjoy, you know. But I think maybe when, like, we're seeing a sort of a down, we had the trend with, Marvel movies and comics. It was such a big thing now, a couple of years. Superhero, exactly. Now fatigue sets in because the quality isn't there anymore, and people get tired of the same thing. They just tried and true formula, and they don't take risks anymore like that. So it would be cool if, I mean, video game adaptations, well-made video game adaptation, becomes the new thing that's big in.
It will.
I think it starts, as you said, it's starting to with The Last of Us. The first season I think was good. The second season was way weaker, but I don't like the second game also. But I think the game was better than the second season. But you see a rise in that, and they're making the live action Zelda movie. They just cast Link and Zelda actors, and so I think you would see it start shifting, like that. And they talked for years about making a Metal Gear Solid movie, but nothing is happening. But So, and we're getting a new Silent Hill movie, I think, next year. Same director that made the first one. So it's a big thing. The video game industry is way bigger than the movie industries. It just makes sense that they have to stay true to the games. That, as you say, sometimes it's just a name. That's always the same name, but it's nothing in common with the. And if they changed it too much, just talking about Last of Us Season 1 and 2, they made changes to the second season compared to the game, and it just falls apart. And I think the second game has a weaker story than the first one. The first one is a masterpiece. Second one is but just changing too much and it just falls apart. You just stick to the game. What's the story? You mentioned Lord of the Rings, like when Peter Jackson made Lord of the Rings. Stick to Tolkien's work. What did Tolkien write? And stay true as possibly as you can making a movie, because of course you have to make certain
some things work better on screen.
Yeah, you have to make change.
Than in the books.
Yeah, it's a different medium, sure, but you have to capture the spirit of the source material in a way.
Otherwise, you alienate the Wheel of Time, the Amazon series.
Yeah.
One of my favorite book series of all time.
Yeah,
they did the mistake that they started changing too many things from the get-go.
Yeah.
So they basically alienated the whole fan base who's been reading the books since late 80s when the first was released.
Yeah.
And then couldn't carry the story enough for the new fans who didn't like it. And I think there's a huge risk with The Last of Us. I don't know if they planned a season 3.
I think they are going to make a season 3, but because that's the structure of the game as well. Like the second game, you have basically 2 parts, so they're going to make the second part of the second game, but I hope that's enough afterwards, because
it might end up with the Game of Thrones, where you can, if you've read the books, you can almost pinpoint this episode is when they ran out of books.
Yeah, you can pinpoint the exact second, the exact page of the script when they ran out of books.
And the risk, if they continue further than Last of Us 2, they have the risk of doing just that. So we can't continue the story at this level.
Yeah, because a lot of people hated the second. You played the second game?
A little
bit.
I played through it.
Yeah. Okay, we won't spoil anything here, but most players hated the way the story went in the second game, and so you could have freedom to do it in a second season. Just do something completely different, standalone, take place years before what happens in the second game. Just have total freedom, make up your own story. But no, they had to follow the second story of the second game, and also make changes to the characters that doesn't make any sense at all, and it's just a way weaker story. So you have to stay true to the source material. I think it's very, very important.
Yeah,
respect it, and of course make cuts, as we said with Peter Jackson. He cut out Tom Bombadil from the Lord of the Rings, but you had to cut him because it's going to slow down the entire movie. You have to cut some things,
He doesn't matter. Sorry to all the Tom Bombadil fans. But to the main
we're going to lose half our listening base.
Exactly. But he doesn't really matter to the story as a whole.
No.
So it wasn't really a great loss, so to speak, that they cut him. And you have to have that little extra feeling for what can we cut without
kill your darlings sometimes. Yeah, I remember a completely different topic, Lord of the Rings, but I remember before the first movie came out, all the fans were like, "Oh no, he cut Tom Bombadil. Oh, it's gonna be the worst movie ever." And Peter Jackson made slasher movies, and like, who cares? He's a nobody. And then to see the movie, it's like, oh my God, it's the best movie ever been made. like that.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Still is.
Lord of the Rings is in my top 5 movies of all time. I see them every year. I love them. Yeah.
Well, speaking of with Peter Jackson as his old movies, there was a big tangent away from video games.
Yeah.
But it was New Line Cinema.
Yeah.
And when they had signed the deal, first they did want him to make 2 movies. He said, "No way, I can't. It has to be 3." So okay, so he and the CEO or the board of directors signed the papers, and they knew that this will be big.
Yeah.
And while they were in the meeting signing the paper, the CEO's assistant thought, wouldn't it be cool if we hang his old movie posters in the hallway? So the CEO just walks outside and see all these splatter movie. So his things, well, I just gave this guy for $300 million. So if this fails, we will go bankrupt and I will never get a job again.
Oh, man.
But it didn't. It was a huge hit. Yeah. But that's a topic we could discuss also, like video game based, movies, games based on movies, and vice versa, perhaps.
Final Fantasy, Spirits Within.
I saw that in the cinema, actually.
I'm sorry for you.
Yeah. But it was cool. I mean, nowadays, it aged, but it was cool to see that sort of, detailed, animated characters.
Made.
Yeah, because you haven't seen that realism in characters before, so it was cool to see at least that. But then they made Advent Children based on Final Fantasy VII, so you had that game as well. And I think, as we say, it's getting closer to the movie medium. I mean, speaking of the Final Fantasy remakes and Rebirth, and like the graphics are insane.
They are.
The real-time rendered graphics in Rebirth is better than the graphics in the Advent Children movie. I mean, they look better, like with the details. And you have actors performing the characters and motion captures, so it's so close to movies today, So it's very close, the mediums. Yeah,
that's very good. One thing that now comes to mind, going back to more of video games.
Yes, back to video games. Sorry, John.
Thank you.
Switch 1 and 2 and PC. And giving, digital owned material and whatnot. But I'm thinking, the Switch 1 and 2 comes to mind.
Yeah.
So the Switch 1 was released back in 2017. And what was it? Back in the 5th of June this year, we had the release of the Switch 2.
Yeah.
And it just feels so amazing to finally have something to choose for yourself, for the most part of the games. To play it on, play games on the built-in screen, or use it with, like a monitor or a TV through HDMI. Use a wireless controller, or wired for that part. Because it supports a variety amount of different kinds of controllers, and it's just so amazing. And the actual games and the Switch 2 being backwards compatible. It's just so amazing.
And the games work better. Some games have been patched. I played Link's Awakening. Was amazing on Switch 2. Better, clearer graphics. Basically no loading times. Very short between areas. And you didn't have this stutter that you had in the original for the Switch 1, But some games have been, just patched, just half loading time perhaps. And it just works smoother on the Switch 2. So... But then, of course, it's expensive. Sure, it is. It is expensive, and new controllers and everything. Yeah, but you can use the old controllers on it for the Switch 1 on the Switch 2. So that's good. So you can play with friends easily. You don't have to buy 4 new controllers or 4.
That's really smart.
So that's very smart, because that's not given, especially not with Nintendo. Like you have to buy our special Nintendo TV to play this, or a Nintendo chair. You have to sit in this to play it and stuff like that. But no, so it was refreshing that you can use your old controllers to it and play all the games on it. It was very easy to transfer your old Switch to the new Switch, just wireless. So it took 10 minutes or something like that. So it was very smooth and faster internet, and as you say, a very good screen. It's much more incentive to play it in handheld for me now than before. It's a very good screen, you know. So probably planning to travel to my friend next week up in northern Sweden, so we play it on the train, and just looking forward to having that with me on the journey, you know, with the graphics and
that sounds great actually.
It looks very good. It looks very good on the screen, I think. But yeah, it's expensive, and they should lower the prices for the games. I think it's too high.
And we'll see, because there were discussions. I don't know if they implemented or if they backed on their statement that they will basically make it impossible to use third-party accessories.
So in some cases, yes. In many cases. Really. Unfortunately, for some reason.
They just want to control everything about their console. And it's in some way, from a business perspective, they spend so much on research and development. So they have to make that money back again. But the camera for the Switch 2 was $120. Oh my God, it's that expensive? Oh my God.
I've actually heard from people online that regarding webcams, if you would have certain kinds of Logitech web cameras for PCs, you can use them with USB. Not all of them perhaps, but there are those who actually work on the Switch 2.
That's cool.
For now.
For now. Nintendo will raid your home and get you to prison, basically, if you do something like. Because they can brick your console now. I think if they.
There was someone read an article. Someone who his son's friend had played on his Switch 2 and done something that violated the rules Nintendo had set up. So they bricked his console.
That's insane.
And he gets no support. It's like, but it's not me or my son. It was a guy who played for an hour. So now our console is bricked. Instead of the good old days where they just banned your user account.
That's insane. That's extremely harsh for something. I mean, I get it if you're like completely into. I mean, maybe tearing the console apart and modding it and playing ROMs, and I mean, just butchering the console. Maybe you do it on a YouTube channel or something like that, and you play a lot of games that not released on anything. And I mean, certain things like that. I get that they crack down on you can't do this like that, but just playing something on it, maybe like that. That's insane. That's insane for something like that. And,
truly.
And if Nintendo just released all their old games, so people wouldn't have to play with ROMs and stuff like that. It's like, it would be fine. It's like, as you say, you can buy games digitally, but maybe they just stop supporting them. Well, then you don't really own your game. So
that could happen.
So then it's not really pirating if you're going to play a ROM of it, because you don't really own it anyway. So it's like,
And the fact that we're heading towards a future where Nintendo Switch Online is not going to work anymore, and you still got the hardware, and it's you've got to own the original hardware from back in the day that might not even then work.
There is a petition now. They've been gathering signatures for the
Stop Killing Games.
Stop Killing Games. So what they are hoping to be able to get the European Union to pass a law that says, if you release a digital game or a server-based game, you have to support it indefinitely. So we won't run the risk of, now all the servers for Elder Scrolls Online or World of Warcraft, we shut down the servers, so now you won't be able to play it ever again. So, because it has happened.
It seems to be quite common.
A lot of games.
I was on a sci-fi convention last year, and a huge Bond fan, the Bond movies, and I bought one of the older games for Xbox One or something like that, or 360. And I was very naive, and I thought, I could play this on Series X. Isn't that backward compatible for all Xbox games? But no, it isn't. because it wasn't supported. And that's a physical game, you know, physical disc. But I couldn't play it on Series X. It just came up a message: this system doesn't support this game.
Yeah.
So you had to have the original console to play it. So and
I don't know if these could stop video games. Petition would stop that the backward compatibility, unfortunately.
And again, it's difficult to, I mean, maybe re-release games and it doesn't work the same way on different consoles. It's different technology. I get that, but I think it still should be a smoother system. And now they're just into, like, you have to have this, like, once a year you have this PlayStation Plus Ultimate or whatever its name is, or so you have to have, pay every month for this service, and then you have some older games you can play from PlayStation 1 maybe. You have to have like this console, like we had, like this
virtual console.
Just had a shop that you could. Oh, do you want? Here's new older games you can buy cheaply. But no, they want you to sign up for months to just milk you of money instead of just releasing games. There's so many older games I would buy if there were like free standalone games. Like, absolutely playing. I have some of them on PlayStation 3 because that's still a working console, PlayStation store. You can buy PlayStation 1 games like Symphony of the Night and Resident Evil, the old Resident Evil games. So you can still buy those and play them. But just come on, just have a store like that you can play these older, bigger games. I get more obscure games. Maybe it's hard, but like Resident Evil 1 to 3, the originals, and why not? Why not just release them?
Yeah.
But you could make quite a lot of money on it.
Make an emulator.
Yeah. Just make it like so maybe you can have a little smoother graphics and stuff like that. Now on HD with the TVs and stuff like that. But it's. Why not just release take Resident Evil, just release the original games like a bundle or something. People would buy it, and it probably wouldn't cost as much to make a bundle of those older games. Just shine them up a bit. So I don't get
exactly.
I think they shut down the Nintendo DS store.
They did, and 3DS.
Yeah.
Oh, it's shut down completely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now even if you have bought a game digitally.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to download it.
No, you can't download it anymore.
You can't download it. So if you uninstalled it, you can't download it again. So now all those games that you have paid for, they are just gone.
Yeah.
So it's sad.
Yeah,
A lot of people with big game libraries.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for your $4,000.
Yeah.
Now you won't be able to play it anymore.
Yeah. So that's not okay. That's not okay. But as you say, that has to pass a law or something to say you can't do that. I mean, of course, you should have access to those games. Yeah. So that's a scary development. Speaking of, we've been talking about these 2 episodes coming from physical discs and cartridges, and now it's all digital almost, and they control everything, the business, and so it's not a good development in that way.
No, and it feels like Nintendo's made it all worse because you would have some of these games. What is it, Cyberpunk, that it's just too big for one of those cartridges, where it's like you would have an actual game card, but it's more like you would have a very small portion of the game, which is then completed by a download.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to make it work on the Switch too.
Yeah.
And so it just feels like, well, why would you even buy it physically in that case? Because you can't even sell it.
No, exactly. So it's
it just feels like it's more of a joke to Nintendo.
But I think those were gonna be resellable because it's basically like the good old days when you had the CD key on the inside of the CD cover. You had CD key, so you could install it in your computer. That the CD key will be on the game card, the digital key card, like they're called.
Yeah.
So I think they will gonna be. I'm not sure. I might be wrong, but I think they were gonna be sellable.
Yeah.
Unlike if you buy it completely digital from the Nintendo store or PlayStation store or whatever.
Yeah. Wasn't that a thing with one Xbox that you couldn't borrow games like with friends? Wasn't that a thing?
That wasn't the finalized version, but it was
Okay.
close to be implemented into the Xbox One generation.
Yeah, because you couldn't borrow games to each other, to friends or something
Exactly.
like that.
They did have, and also that you needed to be online with your console, like at least once a day.
Yeah.
To ensure that you didn't go to piracy or whatever. But yeah, even PlayStation on E3 showed that, here, we're gonna lend out this game, and so you would have one of the CEOs or some person working on PlayStation handing over a disc for a PlayStation 4 game to another, and it's like, oh yeah, thank
Here you go. Yeah. Yeah, but because that's smart, you just use that against Microsoft. Here, you can just borrow a game. It's fine. Because it's so stupid. It's so stupid.
It is.
Yeah, I don't like that control thing that they're trying to control how we play games and what we can play, and it's too much control, and it's unregulated, as you say. There's no law protecting the consumer, so you can lose complete game libraries basically.
Yeah.
So it's not cool. It's not cool.
And it does feel like when it comes to PCs, it feels like download only is something that already has been implemented for years at this point. It feels like download only is the way to go, because everything is on Steam or a competitor's online shop.
Yeah, but you play more PC games, Justin, like...
Yeah, and it's always Steam or competitor if you're gonna buy.
Because people don't buy on like CD discs today, PC games.
The only physical PC games I bought is the World of Warcraft, since I collect the collector's edition.
Okay.
But then you get the CD key. You don't get a physical disc
anymore.
And even there's a lot of backlash because you don't even get the soundtrack on a physical CD anymore in the collector's edition. You get a digital code so you can download them instead.
It's silly sometimes with this is the ultimate super edition, it costs 500 more or something, but it's still just digital extra content, like that. Oh, do you want an art book? Here's the digital art book for you to look at. I mean, some things you want to hold in your hand, if you buy this special edition or something like that. So
speaking of borrowing games with the PlayStation on these, didn't one, I can't remember if it was Sony or Microsoft when they released the was it the 360 and PS3 or so, were the ones that had their presentation first. One of them was a lot more expensive than the other, so I had their presentation and it's and it's $450 or $500 or so. So I think it was Xbox, and had their presentation after. Just walked up to the mic, $3.99, and walked off again.
It sounds like Xbox, because that one was actually cheaper.
Yeah, I think it was Xbox that did it. So we don't need to make a presentation. We just $3.99, walk off again. Everybody's.
Yeah, because you don't have really that much like before, like you have like console exclusive games. Sony has it more today in a way, but most games on Xbox, they sooner or later they release on PlayStation now as well. Gears of War is coming to PlayStation. That's insane.
Yeah, I think it both ways, because now Final Fantasy
that's true.
Released on the Xbox.
That's true.
So it's nowadays it's basically limited time exclusives. So for 1 or 2 years it will only be on PlayStation or only on Xbox, and then they release it on the other platform as well.
Yeah, my first experience of that was the Tomb Raider game, the new trilogy, because I really liked those games. And the first game, it was amazing. And then the second game was only releasing for Xbox, but that was limited for a year. So I can't play this for a year. I won't go out and buy an Xbox for this, So, but the plus side on that, after a year when it was released, it was very polished, free of bugs and stuff like that, because it's been out for a year on Xbox. So that was good. But that's one of those incidences that I remember. I was waiting for the release, but then you have like Sony exclusive, like these Naughty Dog games, the Uncharted, the last of those will never get Xbox release. I can't see that happening.
That doesn't seem to happen anytime soon.
I was surprised that they let go of the Final Fantasy franchise.
Yeah, yeah,
Since that's the was it Final Fantasy 13 was on Xbox.
yeah.
The one,
And PlayStation 3 as well, actually.
yeah, the one we don't talk about.
They don't want
No.
to talk about. You have to listen to our Final Fantasy episode for that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only one, except for the online games, that wasn't PlayStation exclusive.
And now 16. I don't know if 16 was commercially a success on PlayStation 5. I think maybe it's a business decision there to also like now release it on the Xbox. Okay, we didn't make that much money on it. We have to sell it on Xbox as well. But Final Fantasy 16 is amazing. I think it's a masterpiece.
Really,
So it's like,
Yeah.
So yeah, business side of it, and Nintendo is more collaborating with Microsoft as well and releasing some of their games. And
Yeah. It would be so amazing. I've been thinking for so many years it would be. I'm not really thinking that it's ever going to happen, but a Zelda game created by any game developer like Naughty Dog, or maybe any other gaming developer that would actually make better graphics.
Yeah, I would love like the more, because you had the Wind Waker, and then the reaction to the Wind Waker was the Twilight Princess, basically, to different sides, but something in the line of Twilight Princess with today's top modern graphics would be
so amazing.
So cool.
Just imagine Majora's Mask
Yeah.
with Death Stranding 2 graphics.
Yeah. I mean, Death Stranding 2 is, it's incredible. I showed it to my brother, and he was like, oh my god, this looks like a movie. It looks so real. Like I think it's the best character models I've seen in a game in Death Stranding 2, and the environments looks, it's picture perfect. Like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I'm playing that on the base PS5, not PS5 Pro. And it looks incredible. So
Nice.
Yeah. So it would be nice to have a Zelda game with those kind of graphics.
Yeah. And it feels like now we've actually reached up until today's time in gaming generations, right?
Yeah.
I don't really come to think of anything that comes to mind when it comes to things to add to the topic.
I think we've feels like we've reached the end and some bonus things.
A little bit bonus things. Yeah.
Well, there's mobile gaming when it comes to iPhones and whatnot, but it feels like those games,
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush and touch-based games, but it feels like, nah.
I have the only mobile game I have is because I'm a huge Monty Python fan, and I have a game where you play as John Cleese and you do these silly walks that he does in a sketch, and you just go forward, like side-scrolling game. You have to jump over obstacles at the same time. You walk very silly all the time, and it's John Cleese's voice like like that. That's the only mobile game.
That sounds like a pretty fun game.
That's a fun game. That's a fun game. But they're running now. Like, I think those Resident Evil remasters are running on the phone now.
And even certain Final Fantasy games. Actually.
Yeah. So it's getting way ahead there. Of course, with the graphics, and that's a huge market. Of course, the video game, phone game market. But no, I'm more into consoles. I've never been playing too much on the phone. Yeah. So it's
That's amazing. But otherwise, I feel like, I'm happy with this, so...
Yeah,
since we can't discuss Expedition 33.
No, we're going to go back when John has played Clair Obscur, and we're going to have a special episode about that one, because I think you really like it, John.
Super much looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah,
it's a masterpiece.
Really
made a small development team, I think 30 people or so.
30 people.
Yeah.
And so beautiful, because after... It's called Expedition 33. After 33 days, they sold 3.3 million copies.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
so cool. They implement that. The music in that game is some of the best music I've heard in my life, basically.
Amazing.
And they have this boss music. There's a boss, no spoilers, where there's a boss encounter that you encounter 3 times, and the soundtrack for that boss is 11 minutes each time. So when you faced him 3 times, you're up to 33 minutes on the soundtrack for the boss music. So it's small details like that, and I think they're making a movie about it as well, like
As an
adaptation of the But they should make a movie about the development of that game, because that's insane. Like, people, the composer had never made any music for video games. They found each other on a Reddit post or something like that.
They did it with the voice actors, and they have big voice. I know the guy who voices is it Clyde in Final Fantasy
Clive, yeah,
16?
just
And
Verso.
someone, I can't remember the other,
Yeah.
but have huge names.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that it was that, because they did blind auditions.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they only sent in a voice sample.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they were just like, person A, person B,
Yeah.
person C.
Yeah.
They had no idea. So when they showed up, they was like, okay.
It's you. That's
It's
very
amazing. A small team. Of course, they have also have help from like consultant
Yeah,
studios
yeah.
that has backed them up.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but it's such a small core team.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Amazing.
You're gonna
Compared
love it,
to,
John. You're gonna love it,
yeah.
John. We're gonna make an episode about that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So if not anything else, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
thank
And
you so
sorry
much.
for this episode being so late. We will try vacations and stuff and traveling, but we'll hope we're going to release the next episode sooner than this, closer to this than the last.
Yes, we have to.
Yeah, we have to.
Definitely.
But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting our channels. We've missed hundreds of games talking about this generation. So let us know your favorite games or consoles in the comments below. It's very nice to hear from you. And yeah, we talk to you again soon. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.